Everybody, welcome to Sand City Sports Saturday edition. Yes, indeed. Let's go around and make sure everything is good. Check our socials. All right. Yep. Our socials are good. IG, Facebook, very good. See how we're doing on the Twitter. Machine, check it out. It's good. Yes, indeed. Saturday edition. Let's come around home base. YouTube is all set. All right. All right. Last but not least, Twitch. Yes, indeed. All right. Welcome into Sand City Sports. Happy Thanksgiving, folks. Hope y'all had a good, festive turkey day. Yes, indeed. Salute, Chris. Welcome in. Saturday, Sand City. Ooh. What's going on in Chi-Town, folks? Huh? What's going on with Chi-Town? They got to move. You saw Ben Johnson in the locker room? Okay, took the shirt off, flexed on him. Do we have a Phoenix rising in the Windy City? Okay, big win against my Eagles. We shall discuss what happened in Big D. Huh? Them Cowboys, supposed to be an afterthought, might have ended. We can call Kansas City a dynasty. They have dynastic attributes, characteristics. Okay? Kansas City might be headed to the valley. Not the valley of the shadow. Right? Now we're going to quote scripture this early. But the valley in terms of their championship window after the big home win against the Indianapolis Colts to give up that game against the Cowboys, who in no way, shape, or form are headed to the playoffs or in the Super Bowl conversation. The Kansas City Chiefs playoff window. I mean, they're looking like they're going to need to run the tables, as are the Baltimore Ravens. Let me just let folks know that we're in the building. Right? Let folks know late, but a late notice is better than no notice. Correct? Let them know, and of course, people can see. So we shall discuss, and then I'm happy. I'm hoping folks had a good, you know what I mean? This is the holidays, right? It's brick cold out here in the Northeast. It's in the 30s. Walking in my car, I had the opportunity. Cowboys got something going on. Schottenheimer has righted the ship. I'm happy for Dak. But I can't trust the Cowboys, please. We can get into some maybe look, maybe Schottenheimer is the guy, and he can push things, move things in the right direction. But at the end of the day, we know who runs the show in Big D, and has been since time immemorial. Okay, I'm in my throwback zone right now. I'm in the throwback zone, so I go back to the mid-90s heyday of the Cowboys. All right, and where it stands and where it has stood since then. Respectfully, Chris, you know your football, Cowboys, tough out in the play, but I'll believe it when I see it. I'm on that train. I'm not buying no stock in the Cowboys until I see it. Point, period, end of story. Okay, so we'll just leave it. We'll leave it at that. But maybe this is the first. Hey, right? You take down a Kansas City team that's scratching and clawing. Have to take a look at it because the Cowboys aren't catching the Eagles in the division. Okay, but maybe there's another route for them to sneak in. We don't know. But what we do know is, hey, folks, welcome to the business. I am your host, Rizzy at Here I am. Thank you so much for tuning in to I'm on in, locked in. Run that back. Run our intro back. Let's get our energy right. You know what I'm saying? Sand City. Go. Folks, we got NFL, we got college football. The art should be established as a technical the big win we got a lot. There's a lot that's going on. Ooh. Them boys and them Lions. Okay. Major playoff implications on a Thursday. Shout out to Thursday Night Football. All about the Thursday Night Football. Love it. Okay. Football 3 days a week. Okay. Locked in. And then, the NFL and Roger Goodell holidays. Okay. Thanksgiving. Roger Goodell coming for the Christmas corners. We've discussed this previously. Christmas is NBA, and that was the NBA's kickstart, right, to the NBA season. Adam Silver, who I the mixed reviews from the commission, right. We're not sweeping stuff under the rug, acting like we don't see the issues with the NBA relative to gambling, relative to competitive balance, right? We got a lot that's going on. Let me just I gotta fact check something when let me just fact check, make sure. So there's a lot that's percolating in the NBA under the surface that I'm not thrilled about how that's being handled and arms kind of being wrapped around it. But there's a lot of good things going on in the association as well. We shall discuss. We shall get into this. So on and forth. So but I do want to check in, right? And hey, everybody, I just Thanksgiving, was good. I've said that a couple times. I'm saying it again. I'm not going away from the fact that this is a holiday weekend, and we discuss sports, and we're going to dive headlong into sports in no shortage of time. But hey, this is also about life, about the day-to-day, about the grind, about my passion project, as I've noted to you, about your passion projects out there, folks tuning in television land, right? Making time, finding time. And what I got to share with you, we're going to get it up for you on the screen as we're we're gonna dive in, and Chris, per usual, bringing the heat in the chat. We're gonna go straight to the NFL and the playoff picture, and we're gonna start in the NFC, and we're gonna break it down. We're gonna go squad for squad because there's quite a bit to dive into. As we talked about Ben Johnson, the Bears, okay, the Windy City. Big fan of their mayor, by the way. We'll touch politics here and there, but a big fan of the mayor of Chicago. He might not be your cup of tea. I get it. You have a right to your opinion. I have a right to mine. But Chicago is always going to be near and dear to my heart, based on the fact that greatest high school basketball tradition in the country, Chicago Public League. Shout out to Hoop Dreams. Is there. So I'm going to dive into that, but appreciate you, Chris. But we just got to do a little bit for the culture to start us off, because I don't mind sharing. I got invited to like a jam session, whereas a good buddy of mine, I say good buddy of mine, let me a friend of mine who I've known for some years, who has had a band. He invited me. He has he does like jam sessions. Let me see the picture that I need to get for the people here. He does jam sessions, and so he invited me, and I haven't gone previously. Just get this. Is this the image that I need? Yeah, this is the image that I need. Haven't gone previously, but decided to go. More tools. No, it's not letting me do what I need to do. And we're going to get the imagery for you on the, right? We should have had this to begin with. Hey, this is a win. This is a win, so we get the imagery for the people so that they can see, right? I'm not just going to be talking to you. Sand City, we stepping our game up over here. We providing the imagery to go along. But, then I gotta make sure okay, bop, 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 bop. Boop, boop. Yes, sir. So we'll get the imagery. So as I was saying, right? So I get invited to the jam session, and right, when we're getting, isn't it, we talked about this, how busy our schedule is, how busy our schedule gets in adulthood. You just I can't make that because I'm just so tired. I can't make it. Even though it might be right around the corner, might not be that big of a deal. Hold on, let's get that. That's not. Come on, slideshow. You heard me. Slideshow. Give me the fullness. Give me the fullness. Now your boy's over here. Right? So we're getting older, folks. And I didn't, because I'm a history person, so I can remember these things. Whereas, you after school. Speaking of which, winter sports are all of our student athletes. I want to give you an early that a boy or that a girl as you're getting ready for tryouts on Monday, right? We finished the fall season. Monday is the first day if you go to public high school for the winter season. So you got tryouts. You got to see if you can make the team. Y'all remember tryouts out there? How nervous you were, how afraid? Even if you were one of the better players, how you had to go out and prove yourself. Shout out to tryouts. Shout out to that coming of age. Anybody out there in television land been cut from a team? I have. One of the most difficult, borderline, we're not going to say because there's all sorts of, we can use the word trauma, but there's all sorts of things. But certainly when you're younger, you get cut from a team. I got cut from my 7th grade basketball team. Felt like the world was going to end. That was in part because I quit the soccer team. So I was taught a lesson on the basketball team. I shouldn't have quit the soccer team. But I was playing soccer and playing football. I didn't know how to choose one or the other. They kept telling me you should choose, but I wanted to do everything, which is still a problem that I have, trying to do everything all at once. So I was playing, even though I didn't really play on the football team, I was on the football team, and you got to kind of get into the culture and and then I got super duper busy, so I couldn't. So I quit the soccer team, but I shouldn't have quit the soccer team because the same coach for the soccer team was the coach of the basketball team. Then I ended up getting cut from the basketball team, even though I was a much better basketball player than I was a soccer player. And it was just a shock to my system. Very difficult. I don't know if he should have cut me, honestly. There's different. Maybe you could have suspended me for a couple games. He cut me from the damn team. Damn. That was difficult. 7th grade. I don't care if I'm dating myself. 1994. Woo! Difficult. Because like everybody else, and this is before we ain't have like 18 AAU teams, and you got cut from the team. We had a BBA league, which was like a town league, which was so fortunate that we had that, but it was nowhere near as competitive as the high school, as the oh my goodness. It's like I almost forgot that I have to like think back that to remember that happened, right? You get older, but man, like I understand, but that was kind of harsh too. Like you could have had me because, and I'm not tooting my horn. Actually, I frankly need to do this. I need to remember the wonder years and the glory days to light that fire in middle age. But I was not a bad, because I put the time in. You know, I was supposed to be 6'5" and be in the NBA. Lawrence Moten, who, make sure I get that name right, played for Syracuse and recently passed away. Yep. RIP to Lawrence Moten. Syracuse, mid-90s, wore the high socks, had his basketball. We have the same birthday. My birthday is March 25th. I don't mind telling you. So we had the same birthday. He was 6'5". So I, in my mind, was like, I'm going to be 6'5" and play in the NBA. That was my destiny. And I don't care what the doctor says. The doctor says you're going to be, doctors like, I got tested. So the doctors are like, you're going to be, the height that I am. I'm not 6'5", but I was like, no, I'm going to be 6'5". I'm going to the league. Which, right? Those dreams of your youth. It's funny looking back because now teaching and reffing, you kind of see that's one of the things that's really cool about both of those is the young folks have that passion. They have their hopes, their dreams. And you looking at them like as an adult, you're like, okay, you want to hedge your bets and play sports, but don't, put all your eggs, if you don't make it to the NBA, it's not the end of the world. But at the same time, they're dreaming, they're on their journey, and that keeps them on the straight and narrow. Look at. So, Chris, your birthday is December 30th or December 31st. It's I think LeBron December 30th, or it might be the 31st. It's one of those two, I know. But that's crazy. Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Sandy Koufax, and Chris in the chat. I'm saying December 30th without checking. I'm going to say December 30th rather than the 31st. I'm sticking with that. But it might be, I know LeBron is like right there. His birthday is like New Year's Eve or the day before New Year's Eve. Got it. Got it. Shout out to Chris in the chat. Birthday December 30th. But wow, Tiger, LeBron, Sandy Koufax. What? Talk about greatness on the mound. So, yeah, which brings me, got a couple friends whose birthday, Chris, that's kind of, your birthday is so close to Christmas. So it's almost like, right? So I think Chris, a couple friends whose birthday is right around these holidays where there's all this gift giving. So I don't know. I my birthday's in March, so I get, I wanted to get the presents for Christmas. Now I got 3 months. I need a whole new set of presents. But if you have those birthdays close to, it's just tough, It's like, your birthday close to like Easter, and stuff. I only get one gift giving instead. I want, greed is one of my little undercover vices. More and more and more. The disease of more. I need to read Pat Riley's book. And we're going to talk about the Heat. There's just some things going on in the league. I'm sorry to hear about Eric Spoelstra's house. Had I'm not going to say arson, but house fire. Awful. Um, but yeah, we're talking slice of life, folks. And why is Jim Morrison on the screen? And why are we doing this flashback before we dive super deep into sports? Because again, it's sports and culture, and just life. What we're going through, right? Sports is that venue, that cross section. Yes, it's about athletics, but it's also about our journeys, as human beings, right? And this idea of merit, this idea of hope, of progress, of earning, right? This idea that you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps, regardless of what the circumstances are where you're at. There's always going to be a challenging uphill battle. One of my fellow teachers has a really good quote in their room. Life doesn't get easier; you just get better. It doesn't get easier; you just get better, which is facts. Doesn't get, that's keep hoping to get to the point where where things are. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Carson Wentz, head basketball coach at Michigan. The new coach, because Juwan Howard, respect for Juwan, but I believe they, his tenure ended and they went in a different direction. But I know we got to get to sports, folks. So Jim Morrison is on the screen because, look, I went to this jam session. My buddy had been inviting me. It's okay. I busy, but he hit me up on Thanksgiving. Says, all right, let me make sure that I stop by. Man, when I tell you, it was impressive, the setup he had. You heard about like a man cave. This was like the equivalent of a garage band, where he just renovated his garage so that it was, which is also another awesome thing that we don't talk about. Shout out to garage bands, where you would, all the kids, the high school kids in the high school chorus and the music, that they go out and form. I was thinking about that today. How I had no patience for the drama club and for learning an instrument when I was younger. Just no patience. No patience for being outside. No patience for anything but like video games, right? And now you look back and it's like, man, it's great that I mastered Madden and NBA 2K and had a good childhood and kept out of trouble. But if I could have learned an instrument, if I could be in a band, oh my goodness. But what I have to share is this garage band setup they play. It was just, I was impressed. And for the musicians out there, it's kind of normal. I don't come from a musical background, as I just said. I do like to sing awesome 80s song, just a small town girl. I do my little awesome 80s, right? But don't know how to play an instrument. And these guys, the setup was awesome. Had the wood burning stove in the garage, heating it efficiently. All like the old pictures, had the pictures of like the Doors and Pink Floyd and all the, oh my goodness, it was like back to and I think for him and his band, it was nostalgic because that was their generation, their era as well. But not only was I impressed with just their creativity and their musical skill, which again, not being, but they did, but more so impressed that they keeping after it, right? So what if it was just a handful of people from the neighborhood, smaller gathering, rather than like a packed arena, which if you got a good band, if you can play well and for a small crowd, you can play well for a pack, they were good. But I was more so just encouraged by like that, again, that idea of a man cave, that idea of just, this is what we did then. We're older now and in middle age, we're still keeping that fire burning, because first of all, they're good at it, and then it's good for you. It's good for you. Even though, right, we're not we're not forever young. So that's why we had to get shout out to, and then um, Jim Morrison, uh, his song "People Are Strange." Shout out to the Lost Boys. We got to get the Lost Boys for you on the screen before we move over to the next. We're gonna get the Lost Boys for you on the screen, and then we're gonna move over to the next. We're gonna talk about the NFC, and we're talking. We're talking NFC, and we're talking playoff hunt. Oh my goodness, we are on the move, folks. We are on the move. So we're gonna stop sharing. Your boy's coming back. I'm here again. But we getting our visuals straightened out. We getting our visuals straightened out. We're stepping up our production game over here on Sand City. We stepping the game up. You feel me? We stepping the game up here, folks. We're not just talking it. We Sand City, we're walking it. Or at least trying. Let me know how you feel. I gotta get around to see. Okay. IG is good. Facebook is good. Let me know how you feel on the socials. You picking up what I'm putting down, or you're not buying it. I'm here for it all. I'm here for the good, the bad, the indifferent. Mi casa, su casa. Let's get it. Let's get it. But talked about folks that are just doing it, passion projects, just awesomeness. Shout out to the Lost Boys. Shout out to the awesome 80s. Doom, 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 doom. People are strange. When you're a stranger, faces look ugly. When you're alone, women seem wicked. When you're unwanted, streets are added up. When you're down. That opening montage, Lost Boys. What? You kidding me? Folks out there don't understand why the 80s was awesome. What? I'm raising my voice. I know it's getting a little bit later. I got to watch myself. But come on now, folks. Kidding me. Go ahead and get some of this awesome 80s gloriousness. So that's why, again, I'm at the jam, seeing it tonight. I see Jim Morrison, amongst the others, and I just give me a flashback to, again, my formative years, The Lost Boys, that song, good movie, great movie. Some great scenes. Oh, my goodness. Riding the bike on the beach. Oh, my goodness. Even though, I'm not necessarily, into the sci-fi is good. Don't do too much of the scary, the spookily dookily. Not too much of that. Do a little bit here and there. I think this movie kind of walked a fine line. It was, they had some scary stuff, some shocking stuff. But then mostly just a good thriller. I call this movie a thriller. But shout out to People Are Strange. Shout out to the Lost Boys in the awesome 80s. So we're gonna keep the Lost Boys up there. That was my my cover photo for a long time on my Facebook. And Lost Boys from my formative years. You see, folks are good. We're good across the board on our socials. It's a Saturday night, end of a long week. I hope things right. Hope y'all are doing well. And okay, all right. Let me see. Okay. Iron Bowl still going down, still going on. Shout out to the Iron Bowl. Yeah, I thought that game. Matchup between the okay. Let's come to the NFL. I'm just seeing some of the scores that's going on right now. Clips and Mavericks battling it out. Suns and Nuggets. Nuggets handling business. But we got to talk. We got to we're coming. We're going to the NFL. We can take a look at the NFC playoff big picture and where it stands. And we're going to start in the Windy City. We're starting in the Windy City, folks. I'm not Team Caleb. Don't get it twisted. I ain't jumping on no kind of bandwagons. No sirree. All right, that's not what we needed. So we're gonna get this imagery for the people because that's what the people need, right? We need to talk it, but we also got to walk it. So if I'm talking about something, right, the good people out there in television land, they need to be able to see it. So that's what we're doing. All right. Shout out to the Lost Boys. That's a good line there. Amongst others, right? Women seem wicked when you're unwanted. It's all right. You know what I mean? Ain't no thing, right? People got to be who they got to be. You keep it moving, you know, and you know, talk to the next one. You just keep it moving. Keep it positive. It'll work out in the end. Okay. What's going on in the Windy City, folks? Do we need to, right? As was noted on this show, heart goes out, feeling it for Tampa Bay in terms of the injuries. That was a sleeper team to break through and get to the Super Bowl and handle their business. Okay. But the journey is what it is. You experience the injuries, you have a team that's built, you can only sustain but so much. All right. So Tampa Bay regressed to the mean 6-5. If you can believe it, the Carolina Panthers right behind them at 6-6. Falcons falling off the pace. Saints are in the march for Arch or whoever, at the bottom of that division. Falcons aren't going to be recovering 3 games under 500. Penix shut down for the season. So a 2-horse race between the Bucs and the Panthers. And I just hope. Right? Going back. Right? We're going back almost 20 years here. What do we, 06 Bears, the Brian Urlacher Bears. Quarterback, running game, head coach that offensive minded and can scheme these guys, right, into the end zone. Tough, cold, windy, right, physical environs out there. Soldier Field. Hope they still call it Soldier Field. Know that they're talking about building a new stadium and this whole situation, just mind-boggling. How NFL wants new stadiums. I get that. You got to modernize. but also you billionaires can be putting up your own money. I don't like how municipalities, meaning taxpayers, have to foot the bill for all these, brand new stadiums. The taxpayers are footing the bill for the stadium. You need to, some of that needs to come out of how much you're charging folks to go to these doggone games. That's just a subject for another day. All right. But again, the Bears, and anytime I look at the NFC North, I look at the Vikings with a just heck is wrong with you. Giving away Sam Darnold, lost 3 straight. Heck is wrong with you. Chris, to your point, that was a big win for the Packers, and a tough loss for the Lions, right? So now they fall to 7-5. Packers give themselves, a 2-game edge in the loss column over the Lions, along with the head-to-head, and right there to get that divisional title, and give themselves opportunity, a chance at a first-round bye. Eagles, right, costly loss against, right, that both teams come in at 8-3, right? So Bears move forward, winners of 5 straight. Eagles losers of 2 straight. Next thing you know, the Cowboys now right on their heels, even though they're 2 games back in the win column. Not the year for the Commanders. Unfortunate regression to the mean. Giants as well. Both these teams losers of 6 straight. Tough, because I'm respectful of Dan Quinn and how he came into Washington and got things moving in the right direction. The argument that you hear about the Commanders, and this is a similar argument that you're going to be hearing about the Patriots, is right after you have your breakthrough season, your next year, that your schedule now is catching up to you. So you're not going to be able to have all these cupcakes out there. You're going to have to get down for your crown, so to speak. So along with the injuries, you're also up against it. This is a situation that the Chiefs have been dealing with and made look easy, year after year, right? Super Bowl this year, they so they're always playing these juggernaut schedules, which you could argue, right, if they're able to break through, makes them a very dangerous team. But we'll see if the Chiefs. We're going to stay in the NFC for a time, but we'll head over to the AFC. So you have these log jams. Speaking of which, and I'm glad we are discussing this. What's going to happen tomorrow when the Browns show down? When the Browns get down, let me get my statements right. When the Browns get down against the 49ers. 49ers must-win game. No 2 ways about it. For the Browns now, Shador talking his talk, walking his walk, must-win game. Okay, swashbuckling, doing it his way. Okay, got the win, but they're the Raiders. Show me something, and I'm Team Shador. Show me something against the 49ers, a team that no margin for error. Has to win this game. No shorts, or however you want to put it. Not sleeping on you in any way, shape, or form, even though you are the Cleveland Browns and known for dysfunction. Not at all. So we will get into that, but that game tomorrow, 1 o'clock, unless the league has flexed it. They need to be flexing that game. They need to be flexing it. Because people, that's a big time game. Yes, I said it, big time. You can have a big time game, including the Browns. All right. Interesting that you say they're going to get destroyed. Shout out to the snowstorms. We need snowstorms. What the heck is going on? Well, first of all, I was talking with a gentleman, man. Like I said, the jam tonight was just so awesome. It was awesome just on a number of different levels. I was impressed. I was encouraged. I was inspired. Right out there in television land. You're not done. We're not done. We can keep it going. All right. We're getting older, but You're as old as you feel. You're as old as you think. Right? You had that passion when you were in your middle school, high school. It's still there in your middle age. I know your life has changed. You got a family, you got kids, you got a job that's pulling you all type of different directions. Whatever we're going through, all right? It's a means to an end. It's not an end in and of itself. It's a means to an end. Right? Your job is not who you are. It's what you do. Okay? Your passions, your perspective, the positive things that you want to do in the world to help people. That's who you are. Okay? That's the fire that powers the other things that we have to do. Okay? Back to what Chris is saying on topic, but the life stuff. We as I said, Sand City. We talking sports. We talking life. This is a community right here. You know what I mean. You guys are welcome to chime in, right? With our day-to-day stuff, I go through. Everybody's going through. They go through. That's life. We're doing the best that we can to get through in a positive, productive, uplifting way. That's what we're doing. Interesting. It's going to be snowing in Cleveland. Great. So are the 49ers built for that? Do they get snowstorms in San Francisco? I know San Francisco's in the north. It's not there, in the LA and, dare I say, San Diego area. San Diego just known for being 75 year round, absolutely beautiful. Los Angeles, City of Angels, what are they doing? They skiing out? They're not skiing. They don't, right? It's a warmer weather environment. San Francisco's in the north. So they get a little bit of, cool wind weather, but are they built for snowstorms? A. B, that's right in the Cleveland Browns, they do have a defense. They do have a Myles Garrett wreaking havoc. So yes, Chris, if the point that you're making is relative to Ken Shador, who did play in Colorado, I don't know how much snow, because, I don't recall him in like snow battles. So he is going to be impacted in terms of what he can do and what they can do offensively. Point taken there. Even though I think they're bringing him along slowly, steadily, he is able to go down the field. But they're not going to go from him just starting his first game and all of a sudden we're going to let Shador cook. I'm not sure who that advantage is or who that disadvantage is, frankly, because Brock Purdy and his 3 interceptions. What are we doing here? So that's a wash for me. That's another ingredient to this. Hey, now can we imagine? And we're gonna get there. Let's stay with the NFC, and I want to come back to that. I want to come back to. We'll come back to. You bring up some, a lot that we have to get to. So we'll switch over to Shador and the Niners and that. And I'm saying it again, marquee matchup tomorrow because it is marquee. All right. When you have the 49ers who are 8-4, the Seahawks who are 8-3, and the Rams who are 9-2. Are we saying that one of these teams is not going to make the playoffs? It doesn't look like they can all make the playoffs. So the Niners, 4 games over 500. A 1 game back in the win column against the Rams, versus the Rams, or however you want to say that. Who many people are now jumping on that bandwagon to hang out with Chris. Right? Buccaneers have 5 losses and only 6 wins. Doesn't matter. They win the division. They're in. Detroit, 7-5. 5 games remaining in a competitive NFC North. They fall, to Chris's point, another game back. They might not get in, even though they're 2-3 games over 500. And now next thing you know, the Cowboys are trying to get a movement going, trying to get, winners of 3 straight. I don't even want to imagine this. I'm not even thinking this coming from the great state of New Jersey. And I got in mind, folks, we do need to talk about cultures because I was thinking to myself, because your boy get down with the culture. Game of Thrones, Sopranos, The Wire. We might have to talk about it because I was in my, I had some Soprano stuff I needed to get to. If you will oblige me. As far I have The Wire as the greatest, by the way, in case you're wondering. The Wire as number 1 and Sopranos as 2. All right. You can tell me how you feel about it. TV shows of all time. When you walk through the garden, you better watch your back. You better watch it. The Wire, But The Sopranos and David Chase are right there. So we are going to be getting to that in this episode. I mentioned it. We're going to be getting to it. Period. In the story. If this episode have to go, it's the weekend, folks. You know what I mean? Upside, inside out. What are we doing? We live in the vida loca. We doing it. We doing it tonight. All right, we came through a little bit later than like to be 10 sharp. Came in a little bit later at the 10, but it is what it is. We're here now. It's going down. So we're getting into tonight. It's The Sopranos because I got some stuff, but Sopranos 2, Wire 1. A lot of people throw Breaking Bad to me and Vince Gilligan. He's up there. I got Breaking Bad ahead of Game of Thrones. I know a lot of people Game of Thrones, and for me, Breaking Bad is better. But you're welcome to chime in. Okay, let's stay with the NFC before we go to the Shador Brock throwdown. This is a real thing that gives me anxiety. And a lot of things that, but hey, you're talking New Jersey right here. You know what I'm saying? The Garden State, the great state of New Jersey. People always they come out their mouth, have something to say about New Jersey. I put hands on you. I put hands on you. The backhand is coming for you. Don't disrespect New Jersey. That's the motherland for me. Okay. Haven't lived there. I only lived there actually in my formative years because we moved to Rockland County, New York, which I was talking about the other day. Really good childhood. Went to elementary school. This is a fact with Bill Murray's son. Bill Murray is a dude. He's a super cool guy. Super cool. But I was born in the area near where The Sopranos was filmed. Sopranos was filmed Caldwell, New Jersey. I was born in Newark. So obviously, if you watch Sopranos, you know that Newark, Caldwell, they're very close. But then I grew up in Rockland County, New York, and then moved here to the Cape. So only lived in Jersey for a short time, but my family lived in Jersey for many years. My grandfather lived in Jersey majority of his life. We talked about Herbie Derby. We got Herbie Derby up on the screen last episode. Shout out to Herbie Derby, my grandfather. Passed away last year at the age of 99. Herbie Derby forever. But y'all know, don't bring nothing. Y'all big on New Jersey. You better come with respect. Come with respect when we talk about New Jersey. And then again, because of the New Jersey connection, I have family still in Philly, city of brotherly love. So I pull for the Eagles. But the anxiety that I was discussing, folks, is Cowboys are only a game behind the Eagles in the loss column. All of a sudden, how did that happen? Chris is here spitting that stat jazz, that football knowledge, talking about how people don't want to see the Cowboys in the playoffs. I don't want to see the Cowboys in the playoffs either, because the Cowboys in the playoffs, that means the Eagles are not. So I don't want to see the Cowboys in the playoffs. Point, period, end of story. Point, period, end of story. I appreciate you, Chris. Keep cooking. Chime in. Let me know what's going on. Cowboys make it. That means my Eagles do not make it. So I can't have that. But doggone it, the Eagles have lost 2 straight and the Cowboys have won 3 straight. So what's going on? Now they got this marquee matchup. Yes, I say marquee with the with the Detroit Lions. And back to Chris's point, Detroit, you lose that, you might be gone. It looks like you're gone. Cowboys keep pace, keep in striking distance of the Eagles. And those two teams, I have to imagine they will match up. Let's just double check that. There will be a head-to-head throwdown between those two teams to decide this. Nope, they're done. And the Eagles have got the Chargers, Raiders, Commanders, both down. The Eagles play the Commanders twice, so that does help them. But again, divisional game. Love nothing more than knocking out a divisional rival. This is getting, as Jason Mack would say, shout out to J Mac, shout out to Straight Fire, Jason Mack, Rob G. So much great content out there. And J Mac on the herd. This is getting serious, folks. All right? Cowboys are hunting down the Eagles. Bears and Packers are distancing themselves from the Lions. Okay. Buccaneers and Panthers are in a 2-horse race. One of them is going to make it, regardless of if they deserve it. They're making it. And now, we're going where we have to go. This is a must-win game. Is it a must-win? I mean, who do the Seahawks have next? I mean, Seahawks, who are they matching up with? Seahawks and the Vikings. Okay. Vikings are down, but dangerous. You lose to the Browns. Never mind what it does to your psyche and your culture. This loss to the Browns puts them 2 games back in the loss column of the Seahawks, and then 3 games back of the the Rams, Chris's Rams. Can San Francisco still make the playoffs? I mean, sure, anything's possible. You can win Powerball. You can do something. But they're really, really, right? This means you have to win out. You have to win out. Okay? Possible. I don't know about, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, folks. Let's get it. Let's head to the. Let's get to the marquee right now. Yes, I said the marquee. Let me see if we can we do the. Yes. Oh, we on a hot streak. We on a hot streak production wise. After much, we're starting to get the hang of this. Hold on. We're starting to get the hang of this. I said starting. Hold on. Right? I'm not clapping. I mean, we started to get the hang of this production a little bit. That's not for me. I'm not clapping for myself. I'm just saying. We got all of these like transitions. I haven't, I'm a history teacher. I teach, I'm not tech savvy, but I'm starting to learn, right? Hold on. I just thought I got it. What are we doing? So I gotta work on because no. I'm looking for this drum roll. Hold on. Can we do a drum roll now? I don't have the drum roll. The drum roll is not. It doesn't want to do a drum roll. We have clapping though. We have some clapping. So these are, again, other people that might be tuning in might chuckle at my jubilation with these basic things that they're like, this guy, who is this guy? Like I said, man, this is just something I enjoy. I didn't have the patience. I should have took those classes in high school to learn about all of this production stuff, but I was fuming. I had some difficulty, right? I wasn't able to play basketball. My upperclassmen years in high school was very difficult for me. Interestingly enough, now as I've been refereeing for 16 years, so it's funny how things work out in your life. because I'm around more youth basketball, high school basketball than I ever dreamed that I would ever be around, just through reffing. And I think a lot of the reason I do it and I still enjoy it is because I had those difficulties. I didn't have the Friday night lights that I wanted to in high school, which is very difficult for me. My stuff phone. Speaking of which, hold on. This was from a student of mine. And then you can't always see it. So, can't always see. Can you see the picture? As well as the lint roller. The lint roller can go. The lint roller can go. But the picture, I was a student that made that a couple years back. So put it in a place of prominence. Place of prominence. All right. Now we didn't get the drum roll, but we got the clapping. Clapping was important. The drum roll, that's for next. But we're moving on to the next topic unless folks have anything that they would like to add. Of course, you're always all right. Okay. It's not win or go home. But it's look, let's start with Shedeur. You want to be the man, you got to beat the man. And Brock Purdy is not the man, so let's not confuse that. But you got to get wins. You got to get wins that matter, big wins. Show that you belong. Right? Show. So I just want to take a look at what the experts, so to speak, have this game at. Should just go. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. What's the spread? Give me the numbers here. Night dog on it. Okay, screen kind of. Not giving me the numbers. All right, I'm done with you. You're X'd out. Things kind of slowing up a bit. Try that again. See if I can get those. If I can get those odds. Niners -5. Niners 5-point favorites. Okay. Sounds about right. One team, a couple games over 500. The other team, a couple games lower out of, Browns got to be 2, 3, 4, 5 games under 500. We've been in the NFC. Let's head over to the AFC. Browns 5 games under. Niners 4 games over 500. In Ohio, weather conditions. But, all that aside, right? Tale of two cities, tale of two quarterbacks. Shedeur just getting his opportunity. Purdy coming back from an injury and trying to get his mojo back. All right, so neither, both these quarterbacks, a lot to prove. The 49ers as a team have much more to prove because they're playing for something. That playoff berth and, to keep things going. Keep themselves, right? This is a team that only a few years ago, made the Super Bowl. I don't even know if you can utter the word Super Bowl in Cleveland relative to the Browns. Okay? They are so far off. All right? But in terms of hope, progress, momentum, however you want to call it, the season is going nowhere fast, but these are the type of wins that can steady the ship, keep people's jobs, and show that there's something worth retaining, maintaining, sustaining, however you want to put it. Right? So the Browns are playing with house money. Right? Even though for Shedeur specifically, there's a lot riding on this. And that's why this is fascinating, because if Shedeur had the personality, not that he needs to, not that he has to, not that he should, of a Brock Purdy, who is a well done is better than well said type of person, who's a man of few words, right? As I get a little stretch. Folks might not hold this game against him to the extent that they want to. They can't wait to. Never mind that it's snowing. Never mind that he has the lesser resources. Brown's not as good as the Niners. I don't think it's debatable. So those things won't be in his favor should they get beaten or, dare I say, mollywopped. Okay? People cannot wait. They are chomping at the bit to pile on this man should things go sideways. So forget the snow, forget the 5-point underdog, forget the two trains moving in opposite directions in terms of the 49ers. Playoffs, Super Bowl, keep this thing rolling. The Browns, Deshaun Watson, fully guaranteed contract, 18 quarterbacks. Just they're passing in the night going full speed in two different directions. Okay? But that's neither here nor there in terms of Shedeur. You lay an egg. I mean, you right. You talking it, you walking it. You are who you are. You are your father's son, Shedeur Sanders. Deion talked that talk and he walked that walk. He backed up what he had to say. Arguably the greatest cornerback in NFL history. He backed it up. People didn't like it, he backed it up on the field. So they had to shut the heck up. And now Shedeur's in a comparable moment. Again, we're talking about Deion's career. We're talking about a big game for Shedeur. It's a big game. You got that first win, people are saying, but people now, this is a real challenge. Okay? I'm giving the Browns a puncher's chance. I'm saying, hey, they're 5 games under 500. But Myles Garrett is still out there competing, wreaking havoc, something to prove. Bottom line, you're an athlete. And I experienced this myself in a far different capacity. Okay, it's going to be a running game. Chris, point. So you're running headlong into Myles Garrett. He's waiting for you. Myles Garrett is waiting. Go ahead and run that thing. Okay, I'm manhandling whatever offensive lineman you have in front of me, so he's not an option. You're not running. I mean, are you going to run to Myles? I meant you're running away from Myles Garrett, the other direction. We don't want nothing to do with that man. Let's take a look. interested in where uh, interested in where the Browns rank, where the Browns defense is ranked. I'm gonna get that, but I know they got Myles Garrett. So they got Myles Garrett, but what's their overall ranking defensively? Let's 2 total defense. That was quick. Browns are second in total defense. I didn't have to look too far. I didn't have to scroll down too much. They're second in total defense. People out there in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. Go across the board. We're doing all right in television land. Sand City Sports in the building. By the fans, for the fans. You know what time it is. Holla at your boy. Right? So, good. Going to be a running game. Cleveland, home field. San Francisco, you're running into a brick wall. And to that point, that's a very, at what point, at some point, okay? So at some point, one of these quarterbacks is going to have to make a play, which I love. One of these two quarterbacks are going to have to make a play. And that's the intriguing thing is that Brock Purdy is going up. He has a tougher defense to tangle with. Coming off a 3-interception game. Not that Shador and, right? They're going to, because San Francisco has, Salah is back in San Francisco. Shouldn't have been out of New York as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So he knows his business. He's coaching him up. I'm picking the Browns. Picking the Browns. Myles, Minister of Defense. Shador, go out there and get it. I don't want no excuses. I don't want no, no. All right? Dropped in the draft, had to earn your way up. People throwing shade on your name and all that stuff. Okay? Go out there and get it. And reset this narrative. Or, it can be a woulda, coulda, shoulda, and you validate the doubts and concerns of the naysayers. Right? Bill Parcells, you are what your record says you are. That's who you are. I say it again and again and again and again. Right? So Shador, as marketable as he is, We go through, okay? All the rest of that stuff, he sells. He gets clicks and sells. Do people even buy newspapers? You get what I'm talking about. Much as all of those things are true, at some point you got to go out there, you got to win. You have to win. Speaking of which, it's a quick check on college football. The game, Michigan, Ohio State. Ohio State 27, Michigan 9, wins handily. I say that to also say number 2, Indiana versus Purdue. Indiana 56, Purdue 3. Woo. And maybe we'll I think it's only yeah, it's I mean, because there's no one in sight in terms of the program. We are blasting off. But before we get to the NFL, we're in the NFL. What am I talking about? Before we slide over to the NBA, we're going to have to discuss a little bit of college sports. We're going to have to dive. We're going to have to touch on, especially when you have all these rivalry games going on and games of significance. Okay, the Iron Bowl, right? Throw the records out. I don't like ASU losing to Arizona. Even though they're the higher ranked team, I don't like to see that. Family that graduated from ASU, so. All right, let's see if we got, as we conclude in the NFL, then we're going to go over to college football. We discussed the NFC. See what we're looking at here. Patriots are on Monday Night Football against the Giants. A lot of trap games for the Patriots now. Okay. They let the Browns hang around. Lucky Joe Burrow wasn't out there to dice them up. Patriots can't get complacent. All right, let's come over to the AFC before we go over to college. Hey, shout out to Arnie Spanier. Okay. Does a great job. Late night radio. Yeah, Arnie's the man. I need to, you know what I mean, get back to my late night roots, my Maller Militia, Arnie Spanier. Okay. Speaking of which, can't allow the dreaded day shift to take you away from those things, right? Love calling in the Arnie show, as I do a lot of the great programs, but Arnie's solid. The Midnight Hour, which is a little bit past midnight here on the East Coast because he's on the West Coast. Yep, Plank. Yes, indeed. Late night go-tos for sure. But let's head over into the world of we got to do this, of college football based on the rivalry games. Yes, sir. We are on it. We are on it today with our we're getting our art and we are on the move. Yes. As the clock strikes midnight here in the East Coast. Sand City Sports. By, for the fans. No end in sight. None. Huh? This Indiana football, folks. Coach name Cignetti. Huh? Quick aside, back to the NFL. Yeah, we got some Iron Man stuff going on, right? If Jones is out there playing with major injuries, it's tough. It's tough because Indiana, talking about the Colts rather than the Hoosiers. Who'd have thought football would come back with a vengeance in the Midwest Hoosier state? But I'm hoping that Daniel Jones can just play out the season healthy as possible, right? And you don't like a team's season to be decided by injuries. It happens, but you don't. It just, especially when a team is rolling, right? Let folks know what the heck the deal is. All right. Cignetti, college football, man. This is the anti-NIL. This is the anti-transfer portal. If I'm Charlie Baker, commissioner of NCAA, who was a good governor, a solid governor here in Massachusetts, okay? Not necessarily my political philosophy, but you give credit where credit is due. Charlie Baker was a good governor. He handled his business, right? I thought Charlie Baker would have been a qualified candidate for president. He decided to take his talents into the world of sports. I know he's working on bringing some order in terms of the transfer portal, in terms of NIL, so we can get some kind of consistency instead of the absolute doggone wild, wild west. You got 30-year-olds playing college sports. You got guys out there playing for 6 doggone years, never want to leave. I can't knock them from, wanting to make the money, but what is the heck is a 17-year-old Cooper Flagg have to do playing with a 27-year-old, right, in quote-unquote college sports, right? It is essentially the minor leagues. Not essentially. It is essentially, for all intents and purposes, the minor leagues for the NFL, but something's been lost. Okay? As was noted, right? College. These guys go to a school, they stay for 2-3 years. You grow with them. Okay? Christian Laettner didn't go to Duke, then transfer to Syracuse, then go to Allen, He was at Duke 4 years. Grant Hill was at Duke 4 years. Bobby Hurley at Duke 4 years. Shout out to Deval Patrick. Chris, appreciate that. Deval, that's my man right there. As he was building himself up, he came down to the Cape, as he was building up his platform, and people, we don't know, and who's this guy, and is he right for our state, and all the rest of that stuff. Deval Patrick was a man. Deval Patrick. What am I trying to say here? Because you don't want to make. I was going to say Deval Patrick should still be governor. That's not really a coherent statement because it's been so long since he's been governor. But what has to be noted there is that Deval Patrick was the odds-on favorite to win a third term in and around 2016. I don't know if he was up in 2016 or if he had a couple years left, but he decided not to run for a third term. And I know people don't remember this, or might not remember this, because he was slated to be a cabinet member in Hillary Clinton's administration. Folks we forget that Donald Trump was not predicted to win by any of the major news stations, newspapers, whoever, in November of 2016. Okay. That's one of these people remember where you were, right? I certainly remember where I was. What happened that day, and I can remember like it was yesterday, the day Donald Trump was elected president of the United States, when me personally, don't think he thought he was going to win that day. That's my take, right? It's right now we're talking about a third term, that since he's back in office, and obviously you can't have a third term after Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Not saying that he's, I'm not making that statement that he said that and he means it in the 22nd Amendment. That's not what I'm saying. But it's hard to, as we take a little side step into politics for a second, people chime in if you want. I'm not taking one side or the other. I'm just speaking facts. It was noted, talk about a good, for lack of a better, I stuttered and I just say a term like good. Deval Patrick was a solid, innovative governor. And I would say the same thing for Charlie Baker. And I'm a fan of our current governor, Maura Healey, right? Charlie Baker got this state through COVID. Okay. And beyond COVID, he's an effective governor. Yeah, he was a Republican in a blue state. So what? He handled his business. I rock with Charlie Baker. The reason his name came up is because he's the commissioner of the NCAA, trying to bring some needed order into college football. That's how we got there. We are going to talk about Cignetti, who's a dude in the Indiana Hoosiers. But relative to, Chris brought up a point about Deval Patrick, the governor before Charlie Baker. This is for people that are not from Massachusetts. You're like, what the heck is this guy talking about? Might not know who these folks are, even though Deval Patrick, as I had hoped Charlie Baker would, put his hat in the ring for president of the United States on the Republican side. Deval Patrick did put his name in the ring for president on the Democratic side. Why, for me, he didn't stay in Massachusetts for a third term and maybe run for president or do something in 2020 is because what I'm reminding people of is that Donald Trump was the notable underdog, the unanimous underdog going into the 2016 election. And that, for me, was one of these times where I, quote unquote, remember where I was. And I don't mind telling you, because obviously I taught history, I taught civics, so I've been talking to you for an hour and 23 minutes and 27 seconds. So I'll talk sports, I talk culture, I talk life. We're not going to dive too deep into politics in this episode, or really any episode. I haven't gotten to that point. Stephen A. Smith, who I respect greatly, might not be everybody's cup of tea. I got a lot of respect for that man and how hard he works. Go ahead and check out Straight Shooter, his book. I listened to it on Audible. He reads it on Audible. I would highly recommend it. Just like I would recommend The Fight by Teddy Atlas on Audible, read by Teddy Atlas. Just like I would recommend Maybe You'll Never Cry Again, Bernie Mac's book on Audible, read by Bernie Mac. Out of this world, all of them. But Stephen A. Smith, one of the hardest working men in show business, he talks politics on his pod. That's his platform. His platform. So he's talking politics, and I think he does a good job in talking politics, frankly. Has a lot of innovative conversations across the aisle. People from, right? Because at some point, Americans have to talk. We have to talk. So Democrats and Republicans, we have to talk at some point. Both being Americans. It's harder and harder to do. Number of different reasons. Fine. The day Donald Trump was elected president, remember, I'm watching CNN. I'm watching C-SPAN. This is around like 4, 5, 6 o'clock, right? The voting is going on. People are, right? It's the big election day. CNN, C-SPAN, Fox News. I'm watching all these programs. And there was, when people know something, but they don't want to say what they know, but they know what they know. So they kind of have like a smirk on their face, like they're kind of looking at you with a smirk, like they got something they think, and so sometimes you can pick this stuff up that they're looking at me kind of funny, like they are thinking about something about me that they don't know that I know. They're thinking this about me, right? People give you that kind of side eye that they're looking at you, smile like, what are you smiling? Are you that happy to see me? Or you up to no good? You up to something with that smirk on your face, right? That's the look that people had that day, early on election day, 5, 6, maybe even 7. People were just like, it's a foregone conclusion. This reality show, dude, he's done. It's over. Donald Trump, president of the United States. You kidding me? People aren't going to go for that. Right? Well, like the tone, it wasn't like, wow. It was like, he's going to lose, obviously. Right? So I remember that. And for me, I'm watching this, and obviously, you never know. You never know. I turned on the Barkley Marathons, recommended on Netflix, which is about an ultra marathon in Tennessee, which maybe I'll get it for the Barkley Marathon is an awesome doc. Shout out to Netflix. It's just really good. You can find it on YouTube. It's just out of this world. And then people who run these ultra marathons, a whole different, right? It's just wild. So I threw on the Barkley Marathons, watched that, and then when I came back, it was like DEFCON 5, like red alert. And what happened around like 7, I want to say 6 or 7, people started the night off like smug, like he's going to lose, like this is done, like it's over. This reality show stuff is done. And then around 7 o'clock that night, the quote unquote blue wall in politics, which is Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, the blue wall started to crack. And Clinton's people went into the bunker. And then it was like, what is happening right now? And it was like, is Donald Trump going to be? And I also remember, like, I felt like as it was getting dicey, because I had to, it was a work day. It's a Tuesday. So I fell asleep. And in my dream, I dreamed that I was dreaming, but I had the TV on. So the TV is playing Donald Trump is the next president of the United States. But I was sleeping, right? So you're hearing the TV. So, and I was like, and I woke up and I was like, I had this crazy, I was like, I had this wild dream that Donald Trump was elected. And then I looked at CNN. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, if you guys would remember. Might not, but it was like, it wasn't, Clinton didn't concede until like 1, 2 in the morning. And I woke, I was like, what am I looking at? I was like, this is not real. This is a spoof. And it was CNN Live, the press conference. I was like, this is not accurate. And I was like, what? And I had to and then I turned the other channels, and the other channels had the same thing on. I was like, what? So yeah, that was 16, and it's 2020. Almost lost track of the year. 2025 now, and we're in term 2. But it's been quite a almost 10-year period, as we all know, global pandemics and so much else. But we might have forgotten the beginnings, right? Where it seemed absolutely positively improbable. And so, Chris, all the way back to your point about Deval Patrick and why he's not the governor of Massachusetts anymore, even though he would have made a good third and fourth and fifth term governor, as far as I'm concerned, is that he was going to attach himself to the rising tide that was going to usher Hillary Clinton into the White House, and he was up for um, attorney general, or dare I say, Secretary of State. But I thought more attorney general. And the same thing was true, as far as I'm concerned, of Maura Healey in this last go round. Had Kamala Harris been ushered into the White House, you would have, in my view, been looking at Maura Healey being the attorney general for the United States of America. Right? Maura didn't. That's my feeling on those things. Okay, talked a lot of politics there while we're looking at Signetti, but we got to do what we got to do. Okay. First of all, this dude is a dude, and he's getting it right. He's getting it right. These are not 5-star, right? This team is not all 5-star, top of the line, NIL, hundreds of millions. No. He's coaching these dudes up. All right. And so a press conference with this guy, he's just direct, man, a few words. Why do people want to play for me? I win, he says. Google me. I win. That's why they're here. Okay? It is what it. And speaking of talking the talk and walking the walk, ain't no two ways about it. Okay? And how they demolished Purdue, I love it. I love it. Love those types of mollywoppings. Like, okay, we're not gonna no mercy rule, or no, we're gonna put it on you. Dominant. Because we need this momentum going into the NCAA, to the BCS tournament. People still don't respect us, even though number 2 seed. By the way, seedings didn't really mean too much last year. Oregon was the number 1 seed, had beaten Ohio State a number of times. Ohio State was the 8th seed, as I recall. They got hot, won their first round game, smacked Oregon, never looked back. By the way, that was targeting. When Texas played Arizona State, that was targeting. That was not called. So there was a little bit of tomfoolery going on in terms of favoring the major markets. That was targeting. But Signetti, Hoosiers, all for it. Okay? Ohio State, not skipping a beat from the momentum that they had last year, where they're, losing games, and believe they lost the game last year to Michigan, and then just got hot at the right time and ran the table. So what am I saying? Okay, what I'm saying is that, who's getting hot right now in college football? That kid from Texas, who I said was going to be the Heisman Trophy winner and dominant this year, and he's been no such thing. He's been a player that looks like he's coming back for his senior year. For all intents and purposes. But don't let Texas find their mojo. Don't do it. Big win against Texas A&M, handing them their first loss. Okay, Ohio State is the standard at 1. But after Ohio State and Indiana, let's take a look at these rankings. Yeah, Texas A&M was 3. All right, so they'll slide down. Georgia 4. They'll move up. Texas Tech 5, right? A couple teams moving up. Oregon 6. Ole Miss 7. Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Bama. Right? With the expanded playoff, what I'm saying is forget these rankings. It's a new season. It's a new season. Oregon learned that the hard way last year. The Buckeyes, hey, you know, I like Ryan Day. You know, I'm a Wolverine. Fab Five. Got family, you know, that attended the University of Michigan. I'm a Wolverine. But you know, I got nothing against Ohio State. Right? It's like hockey, as far as I'm concerned. Regular season is one thing, playoffs are another thing. So from Ohio State, clearly Cignetti's not going to get, you know, because you know the people don't believe in them still. They don't believe it, quote unquote, and or like them still. You forget the press clippings, right? And you're gonna go out there and handle yourself. So for me, in terms of my pick, let me just say Indiana. I'm picking Indiana over Bama, over Notre Dame, over Ole Miss, over Oregon, over Georgia, over State. I'm picking Indiana because Cignetti's a dude. It's a freaking dude. All right. And if and until the Buckeyes run the tables and smack Team Silly, as they've smacked Team Silly during the regular season, my view of this college football playoffs and this wild west of NIL and transfer portal is anybody's ball game. Go ahead and let the hot man take it. Let the hot man get it. All right. All right. No yawning on Sand City. All right. We got to discuss this. Yeah. Right? That would have to necessitate Hoosiers too. But about the football team. Right? Hoosiers too, but about the football team. All right, we're going to head over to the NBA. We head into the NBA, folks, because a couple things that have to be discussed. There's a few things that must be discussed. Let me go ahead. We're going to get our imagery correct. Going to get the imagery correct. I'll save it here. Going to stop sharing. Bring the production back. Your boy's back. Working on this, working on that. Boop. Come here. And let's get our imagery on the screen so we can discuss the NBA and what's going on in the association. All right, let's see. Yeah. Bring back Jrue Holiday. That's what I'm on with the Celtics. I like what the younger guys. The younger guys are showing up. You know, they're showing you something. It's too grainy. I can't accept that. I can't accept that. We got to do better. We got to do better on our art. You guys get the picture, but that's too. It's too grainy. So we're going to have to go the long way here to get the correct imagery. Just be 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I'm not putting grainy. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, boy. Minor production issue here. Alrighty, it's good. Yes, yes, yes. All right, good. Good. A little bit of a small, takes a little time for it to click over. Remove that. Now we got the art that we need for this next topic that has to be discussed. Celtics lost a heartbreaker. I'm not buying the youth movement and the talk of the future. Celtics are right up there with the Mavericks as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, there's no two ways about it. Okay? You're the Mavericks 2.0, Boston. Getting rid of Jrue Holiday. It's just ridiculous. Okay? Keep Jrue. You take your second apron hit or you just avoid it altogether. I've gone over this. Whichever way you had to do it, and you just keep the ship rolling. You get rid of Jrue. You try to reinvent the wheel, start over. Just no. Just no. Period. All right, folks. So the Oklahoma City Thunder are trendsetters. They are on a mission. 20 games, 1 loss, playing out of their minds. The number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference is who, folks? Who's number 2 seed? That's right, your Los Angeles Lakers. And that podcaster, okay, with a strong bench, strong coaching staff, Scotty Brooks, Nate McMillan, others, are the second place team in the Western Conference. Now they're tied in the loss column with the Rockets. Shout out to MA, Denver, and the Spurs. We talked about the Spurs, not waiting, but this year. Yes, this year. All right. Lakers have won 6 straight. So where to begin? Listen, and we're not talking about, I don't want to put this, right? I'm talking about the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. We're going to talk about who's showing up and who's there, right? And we'll get to who could be there and the woulda, coulda, shouldas. I went nuts when Sand City was on in the middle of the night after the whole Luka Doncic thing broke. I went nuts then. Where are we at now here, folks? Are you talking about Hookah Luka? Are you talking about Big Body Luka? Do you have okay? So that's right. That we've handled that for all intents and purposes, and the absurdity, the ridiculousness, the outlandishness of what happened, and just gifting the Lakers with a generational player. Okay, you're gonna tell me you can have Austin Reeves as your Robin and be the second best team in the Western Conference, and a mercurial, we'll say mercurial DeAndre Ayton, who's been walking to the beat of his own drum since he was at Arizona. Nobody doubts the talent. Everybody knows he shouldn't have been the first pick in a draft that included Luka Doncic. All right? But now they're reunited, and it feels so good. And they got the Lakers to the top of the Western Conference. Okay, now Oklahoma City is sitting, at the epicenter, they're at the zenith. Okay, fine. But the Lakers are one rung below them, and LeBron James has not even checked in to take part and participate in what we got going on. So you have arguably the second or the greatest, depending on what side of the fence you are, player of all time who still has plenty. Again, this is the NBA of private jets. This is the NBA of luxury everything. You got 18 coaches on the sidelines. Not back in the day, Phil Jackson, Tex Winter, and maybe one other guy to coach a team and getting it done. The coach is essentially the CEO of his own organization with 10 plus people to carry out his vision. Got to coach for offense, got to coach for defense, got to coach for passing, got to coach for shooting, got to coach for nutrition, got to coach for strength and conditioning. I got to coach for everything. Okay, they cook your meals. They'll do the, where you need somebody, to everything is that you need to be in great shape and play a kid's game for hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay, if we forgot that that's the actual job. If we remembered 6'8", 6'9" players riding coach, sitting in the middle. You ain't even got no aisle seat. You're sitting in the middle at 6'7" on a cross-country flight. And happy that you have this opportunity. Okay? That you're not in a bus on the ground barnstorming. Those are the roots of the NBA in the awesome 80s. Okay? Where the NBA was not marketable, was not corporate, was not seen as mainstream, was played on tape delay. Before David Stern came in and turned it around. Okay? So now all the luxuries, all of the accommodations for these guys to go out there and perform. Right? I don't go for the load management nonsense. I don't go for the second apron nonsense. They're a different category, but nonsense. Los Angeles Lakers not even at full strength, but with Luka legend and Austin Reeves as his Robin, under the leadership of a second-year coach who has a total of 2 years experience, has a total of 1 year and a handful of games experience coaching is the second place team in a battle royale Western Conference. I don't care if it's only 20 games in. You can see what it's going to be. This is wild. All right, folks, check it in real quick. And it begs the question. I'm not my brother. I can join after Kevin Hart stand up. I don't know if I'm going to be on after Kevin Hart does his stand up. We coming up on the 2-hour mark. We making it do what it do here, Sand City. By for the fans. You know what I mean? We Sand City is a beautiful thing. Kevin Hart, shout out to Kevin Hart. Grinder, worker. Another one that doesn't rest on his laurels. No yawning on Sand City Sports. Like I said, can the Lakers? I mean, first of all, okay. Best of all possible worlds. Lakers keep this going. LeBron puts the business and personal stuff aside, right? LeBron, in his feelings, Lakers didn't offer him an extension. Lakers playing hardball, okay? Which has been going on since he got there, right? LeBron wanted to do things his way, wanted to be out there, right? He's on the bench. Then he goes and wants to stand with Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka. Remember that? The power moves. Demanding that they go get Anthony Davis. They went and got Anthony Davis with the Godfather offer. Still weren't able to get over the top. Bubble season, 3 months off, get healthy, come back in the bubble, don't have to travel, win the championship. That's a championship. Everybody's playing with the same circumstances. Clippers were up 3-1 against the doggone Nuggets. Lost the series, did it to themselves. But then after that, Lakers regressed to the mean after the bubble championship and had plateaued. Okay, Dallas gifts them a generational first ballot Hall of Famer. And now Lakers right back there on the cusp. Are they better than OKC? No. But was OKC better than Denver last year for 6 out of the 7 games? No, they weren't. And by the way, Denver was up 10 games with the series at 2-2 in Denver. OKC battled back. But within that series, what happened is Nikola Jokic said, I don't care if you're the best team, most defensively efficient team, have the greatest continuity, take all kind of group picture. I don't care about none of that stuff. I'm the best player on this court every single possession, and you can't do a doggone thing about it. The Joker took over that series. Segments of that series. Pushing it all the way to 7 games. Oklahoma City Thunder, who had learned their lessons the hard way the year before when they were possibly and probably the better team against Dallas Mavericks, but didn't execute and got themselves bounced. Okay, learned from those hard lessons, came back, all right, and were able to seal the deal against a championship team in Denver. Denver has since reloaded. Cam Johnson deal, bring in Valanciunas, bring back Bruce Bowen, who Mike Malone didn't want to get rid of in the first place. People might want to forget that. And so right back in the mix. Houston, right there. Tough loss with Van Fleet. Have Reed Shepherd right behind him, ready to go, step up as he's done. So you got Reed, you got Amen Thompson, you got Jabari Smith, your young Lions. You got Sengun, add to that mix. You got Kevin Garnett, your vet, to guide and lead them. It's going to take time. These guys right there, they flamed out against Golden State last year. They were not ready for prime time. Okay, as a group collectively, and particularly some people, particularly Jalen Green, who's taking his talents to Phoenix, was not ready for prime time. All right, and so they're getting up to speed, but eventually they will. Wemby, San Antonio, ready to win right now. Wemby staying healthy, or learning to be healthy. Okay, with his unique skill set and body type. De'Aaron Fox doing it for his home state in Texas, all-star level. Stephon Castle, defending Rookie of the Year, looking to step into his all-star mold. Dylan Harper, people talk about Cooper Flagg. Dylan Harper, absolute stud as a rookie. So the Spurs have their Fantastic Four and pieces beyond that to support. Right, Minnesota, we are who they are, who we thought they were, talented. Can't get out of their own way. Phoenix, resurgent, bit surprising. Golden State, playoff team, lucky to get out of the first round. Trailblazers, young guys, but they have the scandal around them. The Grizzlies have, sustained themselves with all the, job, getting rid of a good coach. Clippers, that's unusual for the Clippers. But they have, again, some dysfunction around them. Dallas, again, after effects of the Luka Doncic trade, you did it to yourself. And the Pelicans are just, right, the Pelicans and the Jazz have been bottom feeders, down there in the Marianas Trench. They just refuse to be functional, which is surprising. Danny Ainge has been with the Jazz. Danny Ainge been with the Jazz. And they've just been awful. So, what are we doing here? Okay, Jazz, you've been awful in the AJ Debance. Excuse me, you were awful for Cooper Flagg. That didn't work out for you. Now you're trying to be awful. Is the NBA going to gift you AJ Debance? Have him stay? Is that what we're doing here? I don't know, but you're not deserving because you're not functional and you're not putting out a good product for your fans. They got Ace Bailey. They got the kid from Florida. I'm sorry, that Clayton. Others. Will Hardy. Will Hardy came in winning games, coaching them up. I just don't understand. I don't understand why the Jazz are this level of just dysfunction year after year after year. Okay, Mavericks, as I said, did it to themselves. Kings did it to themselves and never got rid of Mike Brown. Clippers responding to the scandal. But you're going to tell me a Miami Heat team can be 17-3 and in the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference, right? Give up Jimmy Butler. Replace him with who? Terry Rozier scandal. Eric Spoelstra home situation. And they just keep on. They just keep on rolling. So, right, which speaks to the Lakers' success all the more. Okay, JJ, he's got it going on. He's got it going on with the Lakers right now. Okay, young coach, inexperienced coach, coaching them up in a big way. Yeah, and we're gonna go to slice of life after this, but this is all. We talked about the dysfunction of. We talked about the dysfunction of other teams, folks. Right? There's dysfunction with the Lakers when you have the second best or arguably the best player of all time in LeBron James not on board with the movement that you've established that is winning. Okay? So that matters for me. It's unfortunate because that affects I can't believe in the Lakers but they're winning through the relative dysfunction. Right? And if we can get on the same page, meaning LeBron, what are you going to do? You want to keep playing? All right. Your best chance to win a championship is right here in LA. Your best chance to build your brand is right here in LA. Okay, so LeBron James, you want to keep playing, right? Your brand is better here in LA. Your prospects of winning are better here in LA. Why don't you stay? Right? You want to go to Clippers, head down the street and play for them? I don't know. Playing with capable guys, Harden, Zubac, others, but they're not Doncic. Turn the corner. Should LeBron turn the corner and say, yeah, it's not my way here in LA, and I'm not the captain boss, and I'm not the straw that stirs the drink. But where are you going to be that anyway? Father Time undefeated. LeBron, you can be the guy and the man to determine and dictate for the Pelicans. Like, where are you going? Where is LeBron going at this phase of his career and calling the shots? Am I wrong for saying LeBron's shot caller days are over? I don't think so. So since those days are behind you and your current situation is the best for your basketball career to sneak in another championship, yes, I said sneak in another championship, win another championship, sneaking or not. Because in a head-to-head series, I don't care how many games the Oklahoma City Thunder win, right? Remember, the Golden State Warriors won 73 games and were down 3-1 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. An Oklahoma City Thunder in Billy Donovan's first year that knocked off a 67-win team namely the San Antonio Spurs and had the Golden State Warriors on the ropes, ready to be knocked the heck out. Okay? We've experienced that in New England here, going undefeated, losing the Super Bowl. That Golden State Warrior team would have not made it to the NBA Finals. And so fine, if Oklahoma City was the better team. And in that series, for all their winning, so on and forth, Kevin Durant just said, I'm the best player on the court, period. And he was. Just like Nikola Jokic did last year. And he was. And he pushed them all the way to 7 games. So, yes, go ahead and win 74 games. Go 74-8. That's I like that. Even number, 74-8. Let's break the 73-win record. 73-9. I don't like it. It doesn't look right. 72-10. Let's stay with the even numbers. Go 72 and go 74-8. I'm all for it. 75-7 is also, because 7 is a kind of cool number. 75-7. Great. 7-game series against the Lakers. Luka Doncic, I'm better than you, period. LeBron James, right, in the mix. Then you got now Austin Reeves is in his correct. The third option, DeAndre Ayton, fourth. Pieces around them, Vanderbilt, others. Yeah, you can win 75 games. Mano a mano in this telephone booth, you don't want the smoke. You don't want it. So a Lakers team, galvanized, moving together, can win a championship. Remember, I said galvanized, moving together. Okay, which Oklahoma City do and don't. Well, maybe they do receive the credit they deserve. All right. Going to get the slice of life, Eastern Conference at a glance. Eastern Conference at a glance. Toronto Raptors, where did this come from? Out of nowhere. All right. Coaching culture. Same thing with the Pistons. Young Lions, coached up. Knicks staying on pace. I can respect it, even though I don't respect their decision to get rid of, an elite coach in Tom Thibodeau. Hawks under Quinn Snyder's leadership. Cleveland under Kenny Atkinson's leadership. Orlando, Jamal Mosley. Sixers, Nick Nurse, right? Younger teams, talent, being coached up on the prowl. Celtics, hanging on to the play-in, you deserve it. All right, we're going to trust the young guys, and you gave up a dynasty to rebuild. I can't, it just, no. You had a dynasty. Yes, I say dynasty. And you decided to go young. Good luck with that, Boston. You're going to be a middling team, a play-in team. And when Tatum comes back, then you'll be a 4th or 5th or 6th team. You've essentially become with them. You didn't learn Milwaukee's lesson and how they fell off after trading Jrue Holiday. So you wanted to walk down the same. You wanted to walk down the same path as Milwaukee. You get Milwaukee results. A talented, all-star producing, middling team. Good luck. Would have thought that you would have liked to continue with the Duck Boats, but no. Decided to give up the Duck Boats. All right, let's go to Slice of Life here, folks. As we wind down this episode. Sand City Saturday night. By for the fandom. Yes, sir. Stepping up our production game, doing what we can do here. We're doing what we can do, making it work some kind of way. It's a beautiful thing, folks. It's a beautiful thing. You tell I've seen Donnie Brasco, Lefty. It's a beautiful thing. But it's not my thing. Yeah? It's a beautiful thing, but it's not my thing. As we get into our Slice of Life, let's get it, folks. Let's get the knowledge. Let's get the instruction. This a little bit more of a
aliens right now.
Monstars?
Yeah, the Monstars.
So my center would be Wemby.
Over Jokic.
No, I was putting both of them in there. So
Oh!
it doesn't matter.
I'll let you cook. I'm sorry.
I could care less who plays 4 or 5. I want Nikola to be the primary defender with Wemby being the help with his length and size. I'm putting Nikola and Wemby on the same team. Could you imagine
goodness.
passing between the two?
Oh my!
Just setting him up for lobs with Wemby's length. And then I would go right into just shooting the rest of the way. My point guard would be Cade. My shooting guard
Oh my goodness.
Defend too.
WSGA?
I don't want Cade and Shea on the same team. They both need the ball. You got to pick one. I'm going Cade. I think Shea's a better player overall, but I don't know. I'm a big Cade guy right now. At the 2, I'd probably go Anthony.
Yep.
And at the 3, I'd probably go KD.
KD.
Name a 3 better than KD right now.
I'm surprised you went Cade over, I guess, Luka right now.
I want all 5 of my guys to be able to slide their feet and switch. We can switch 1 through 5. Nicola's not that guy, but Nicola's the greatest player on the planet. I put him on the team. So you have Nikola, and a lot of Nicola's defensive problems will get kind of soaked up with Wemby next to him. So you have Nikola with Wemby, Kevin Durant, Wemby, Nicola's our 3, and then our athleticism with guards who all could shoot, by the way. You have Ant at the 2, who could also play. He's an extraordinary defender. With Cade, another grid defender. So all my guys can defend. All of them can shoot and make a 3, including Nikola. All of them can pass. So that would be my 5 right there.
What 5 would you put together to play the aliens right now?
That's a crazy 5.
So my center would be Wemby.
You can't leave Luka out, though.
I was putting both of them in there, so it doesn't matter.
Well, somebody's got to be left out. I'm going with Luka and SGA. And I'm sorry, you're not consistent.
I want Nikola to be the primary defender with Wemby being the help with his length and size. I'm putting Nikola and Wemby on the same team. Could you imagine passing between the 2?
Yeah, we have to watch
between Nikola just setting him up for lobs with Wemby's length. And then I would go right into just shooting the rest of the way. My point guard would be Cade. My shooting guard would be, I want someone who can defend too.
WSGA?
I don't want Cade and Shea on the same team. They both need the ball. You got to pick one. I'm going Cade. I think Shea's a better player overall, but I don't know. I'm a big Cade guy right now. At the 2, I'd probably go Ant. And at the 3, I'd probably go KD.
KD.
Name a 3 better than KD right now.
I'm surprised you went Cade over, I guess, Luka right now.
I want all 5 of my guys to be able to slide their feet and switch. We can switch 1 through 5. Nicola's not that guy, but Nicola's the greatest player on the planet. I put him on the team. So you have Nicola, and a lot of Nicola's defensive problems will get kind of soaked up with Wemby next to him. So you have Nicola with Wemby, Kevin Durant, Wemby, Nicola as our 3, and then our athleticism with guards who all can shoot, by the way. You have Ant at the 2, who could also play. He's an extraordinary defender.
When he wants to.
Another grid defender. So all my guys can defend. All of them can shoot and make a 3, including Nicola. All of them can pass. So that would be my 5 right there.
Yowzers. I need SGA over Ant. Much as I love Ant, and people, you want to put Ant because of the explosiveness. Inconsistent. Sorry. Inconsistent. And Durant, but I'm taking a 26-year-old Luka. And don't talk to me about defense because you got this guy. So Luka, but you got this guy. So no, he's erasing a lot of these. So I'm saying SGA and Luka Legend. But those who come off the bench, 7-man rotation, right? They come off the bench against the aliens.
This goddamn Joker guy, man. What he's shooting like they say in like the last 5 or 6 games, he's shooting like 77% from the field.
Yeah, I mean, this season in 3 weeks, I think he's at 67% from the field.
My god! And by the way, and this is not like one of those guys back in the day, like all dunks, or all layups. No, this is everything.
All three
levels. All three levels.
Let me ask you this: is he the best offensive player you've ever played against?
Wow, that's a tough question right there, Steve. Oh my god!
When you think about the totality of what he does, the pressure he puts on the defense, the assists, the playmaking, the initiating the offense, the threes, the mid-range, the putting people in the basket. Like it's a lot of stuff.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. I will say this: there has not been a more dominant, complete player that I've played against in a sense of all the attributes that you just mentioned, from the passing to the shooting, to the rebounding, to the attention. There's nothing he cannot do on the offensive end, like nothing at all. This goddamn Joker guy, man.
Yeah, shout out to Mind the Game. You're not play hate me, congratulate. Let's go. Let's go ahead and cook.
He's shooting like they say in like the last 5 or 6 games, he's shooting like 77% from the field.
Yeah, I mean, this season in 3 weeks, I think he's at 67%.
Oh my god! And by the way, and this is not like this.
Let's just keep it. Nikola Jokic is the modern day Arvydas Sabonis. He's the modern day Arvydas Sabonis. That's what we're seeing here, folks. Okay, let's just be clear on this. Modern day Arvydas Sabonis. All right. So yeah, in his prime, we saw Arvydas in the twilight. If we had seen, we're seeing what we would have seen had Arvydas come over in his prime. And all these things they're saying about him, they're true. His string of dominance. And I do have a Larry Bird slide. We're not going to be able to get to it tonight, I don't think. Might have to come back to it now that I mentioned the Larry Bird slide. I don't like mentioning things and then not addressing them. So as that comes to my mind, we may need to come back to that. Let's stay with our slice of life. Let's keep it going with slice of life. Right? OKC, we discussed, and yes, they can be handled. They most certainly can be handled. But this is looking like a 74-8, 75-5 team. I love it. Defense by committee. Let's go ahead and see it. Let's see the defense by committee.
But they're playing smart because there's not a shot.
Nope.
Like that. How about this?
Come get some. Come get some. Yep. Old school. Ha, give me that. Clink, clank. Next. No. Let me get it.
Out to Monk.
That was a kind of a light foul, a transition. He reaches down. I can see where he gets it. Let's see it one more time. Watch the right hand of the defender. 12-6. That's why you got it. 12-6. Up. You reached all the way down. Boop, boop. Good call. Okay, we got more.
You don't have a crystal ball. No one knew that SGA was going to turn into this type of player. What a beautiful
No, stop that.
Low
2-7.
at the top. Holmgren got a piece.
game. You don't have a crystal
Shout out to
ball. No
iHeart.
one knew that SGA was going to turn into this type of player. What a beautiful
Get out.
High low, but blocked at the top. Holmgren got a piece.
Remember, iHeart was
game.
backup.
You don't have a crystal ball. No one knew that SGA was going to turn into this type of player. What a beautiful
High low, but blocked at the top. Holmgren got a piece.
Those
tend to add up.
Give me
Over the
that.
course of the game, there's a nice rip away by Isaiah
Extra.
Joe. After the missed three-point shot, A.J. Mitchell, he has got another three. Those tend to add up.
Give me that.
Over the course of the
Possession.
game, there's a nice rip away by Isaiah Joe.
Winning play.
After the missed three-point
Rhythm.
shot, A.J.
Click,
Mitchell, he has got another three. Those tend to add
Sir, keep it moving.
up. Monk and a fresh 14, but there is
Ooh.
Jalen Williams just smothered the
my
shot
goodness.
as he was going out of bounds,
Blocks
and then
You can
it
hold
hits
that.
off of Monk. What an incredible defensive play. He's out, Monk, and a
Yes,
fresh
block
14,
it.
but there
Hold
is
that.
Jalen Williams just smothered the shot as he was going out of bounds, and then it hits off of
One
Monk.
more
What an
time.
incredible defensive play.
Yeah, I
He's
ain't
out, Monk, and a
Man
fresh
block.
14, but there is
Falling.
Jalen Williams just smothered.
Moving
They're
on.
moody at times, but
Reed knows his
they
weakness.
understand what it takes to win ball games. Another steal
Look at the
by
acceleration.
Casey Wallace. That's his third.
Oh, Wallace flies.
They're moody at
Watch the
times, but
acceleration.
they understand what it takes to win ball games. Another
Acceleration.
steal
Straight line
by
drive.
Casey Wallace. That's his third.
Oh, Wallace flies.
They're moody
One
at times,
pass, another
but
NBA.
they understand what it takes to win ball games. Another
speed.
steal
Ahead of me,
by
you're
Casey
behind
Wallace.
me,
That's
you're not
his
even going to
third.
contest. You're not even going to contest.
They're moody.
Explosive.
if you can start the assist, back in the
Check,
backcourt.
Take that bump. iHeart. No!
What a rejection
We out.
inside. Hartenstein standing up
To
tall
the basket.
wall.
Yeah, if you
Get
can
bumped.
start the assist,
Get
back in
bumped,
the
Chet. Take
backcourt.
that elbow. Get off of me.
What
And Chet's
a
up the floor.
rejection inside.
I love how Chet bounces off.
Hartenstein standing up tall like a wall.
Chet, the pride of
If you
Minnesota.
can start the assist,
Again,
back in the
iHeart.
backcourt.
Who developed him?
What a
You
rejection
don't wanna put respect on Ted's name,
inside.
You don't wanna put
Hartenstein
respect on
standing up
Ted's
tall
name,
like a wall.
Okay. Yeah, let's hold on. Let's come all
Yeah.
the way back because I gotta, you know what I mean? Yeah, they about it. They about that life. They about that life. That comprehensive, you know what I mean? They are on the move. Austin Reeves. Austin Rivers. Solid pod. We're gonna come back to Austin. Cade. Textbook. A lot of players don't realize you gotta hit the rim. You gotta hit the rim. He hits the rim right back to him. Duncan, an attempt. Shout out to Stranger Things, by the way. Awesome 80s. I lost track of I'm not, because there's so much stuff going on. Couple more. Sand City, we rolling into the late night. We getting it right. Let's see if we can reboot. Go ahead,
Long
Kmart.
elbowed Isaiah Thomas and split him open.
Way before you was even in the league.
Way before I was ever in the league.
I just want to set this up.
And never thought I was going to be in the NBA to begin with. But I remember he had him leaking, right? We playing Utah. We in Jersey. On the break, John Stockton dropped that thing off to him. I go right upside Karl Malone. Boom! Lay him out.
Thank you, Kenya. Love you, Saginaw Strong.
And he didn't get up and do nothing. I was like, oh, these motherfuckers soft out here. Like, and Jerry Sloan, God rest that man's soul. Oh, you motherfucker, I kick you. And I was like, he tried to take up for him, like, and Carl didn't do nothing. I was like, but that was physique. You know what I'm saying?
However many years later.
Way later, Wired. Listen, from Oak Cliff, man. Like, off. Listen, off, bro. Y'all remember Karl Malone elbowed Isaiah Thomas and split him open?
Way before you was even in the league.
Way before I was ever in the league.
I just want to set this up.
And never thought I was going to be in the NBA to begin with. But I remember he had him leaking, right? We playing Utah. We in Jersey. On the break, John Stockton dropped that thing off to him. I go right upside Karl Malone. Boom! Lay him out.
Thank you, Kenya. Love you, Saginaw Strong.
And he didn't get up and do nothing. I was like, oh, these motherfuckers soft out here. Like, and Jerry Sloan, God rest that man's soul. Oh, you motherfucker, I kick you. And I was like, he tried to take up for him, like, and Carl didn't do nothing. I was like, but that was physique. You know what I'm saying?
However many years later.
Way later.
That's crazy.
Wired. Listen, from Oak Cliff, man. Like, off. Listen, off, bro. Y'all remember Karl Malone?
Forget what the and he shouldn't have. These are all fouls that will get you tossed from games in the modern NBA. Common fouls in the all right. Let's head over. This might be the conclusion. We just watched that, of course. All right, let's head back. Check out Austin Reeves' pod.
I want to feel bad for Nico Harrison. You don't like to see someone get booed like that, but when you make a trade that bad, it comes with the territory, man. That trade was so stupid. It's hard to feel bad for him. And then he gets fired and he goes to his Instagram and puts his bios unemployed. It's just weird.
It feels scripted. I can't explain it.
I couldn't imagine getting fired on a stage that public and then logging on to my Instagram and changing it to unemployed as if that makes you look it makes you look worse. It's like it was an attempt to deflect by laughing at yourself. It ain't funny, bro. A whole organization that was on the rise is in turmoil. You had a generational player moved for a guy at the end of his career. People don't think it's funny. That's why they're chanting your name to be fired. They're popping champagne outside the arena when they announced that you were getting fired. What are we doing, Nico? Because of that, in this whole thing, it's hard to see him ever having a position high up anywhere. Well, the NBA's done. You can forget. He needs to get away from that. He will never be a president.
He made the moves to bring them to the finals too. The PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, traded for Kyrie.
That's the trouble in this. The Luka thing is such a bad trade. It clouds all the other good moves he made, whether it's getting Gafford, drafting Derek Lively, the PJ Washington acquisition. He put a lot of those pieces together to where that team made a finals run. Nico did a fantastic job putting a great team together. So prior to the Luka trade, he was doing a fantastic job.
Yes, he was.
So he shows the capability. But then you do that. That move was so bad that when it came out, the whole world thought it was fake. I want to feel bad for Nico Harrison. You don't like to see someone get booed like that.
Oh,
when you make
man.
a trade that bad, it comes with the territory, man. That trade was so stupid. It's hard to feel bad for him. And then he gets fired and he goes to his Instagram and puts his bios unemployed. It's just weird.
It feels scripted. I can't explain it.
I couldn't imagine getting fired on a stage that public and then logging on to my Instagram and changing it to unemployed as if that makes you look it makes you look worse. It's like it was an attempt to deflect by laughing at yourself. It ain't funny, bro. A whole organization that was on the rise is in turmoil. You had a generational player moved for a guy at the end of his career. People don't think it's funny. That's why they're chanting your name to be fired. They were popping champagne outside the arena when they announced that you were getting fired. What are we doing, Nico? Because of that, in this whole thing, it's hard to see him ever having a position high up anywhere. Well, the NBA's done. You can forget. He needs to get away from that. He will never be a president.
He made the moves to bring them to the finals too. The PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, traded for Kyrie.
That's the trouble in this. The Luka thing is such a bad trade. It clouds all the other good moves he made, whether it's getting Gafford, drafting Derek Lively, the PJ Washington acquisition. He put a lot of those pieces together to where that team made a finals run. Nico did a fantastic job putting a great team together. So prior to the Luka trade, he was doing a fantastic job as an exec. So he shows the capability. But then you do that. That move was so bad that when it came out, the whole world thought it was fake. I want to feel bad for Nico Harrison. You don't like to see someone get.
I don't like to see somebody get booed either. I also don't like to be the bearer of bad news. We do need to discuss, though.
We got to talk about Eric Spoelstra. What do you think happened to his house?
Well, I think it's linked to the whole gambling scenario. So you have Chauncey Billups, who got caught up in the illegal gambling ring. Then you had Terry Rozier, who actually was fixing games as well. And they said that actually they were working with the mafia as well. If you look into Eric Spoelstra, his house burns down right after this. Weird timing. Now, who did Teddy Rozier actually play for right now? He's on the Heat.
No way.
Yeah, and people were saying, well, he was fixing games. He was on the Hornets, but that was only a year removed. So what does he know? Because I don't think it's just one isolated incident. So the fact that Rozier plays for the Heat now, and then the head coach, his house burns down, could it be a message from the mafia? Could it be the higher up saying, hey, you better not talk because there's a lot more to disclose?
So you think even some coaches are compromised?
For sure.
We got to talk about Eric Spoelstra. What do you think happened to his house?
Well, I think it's linked to the whole gambling scenario. So you have Chauncey Billups, who got caught up in the illegal gambling ring. Then you had Terry Rozier, who actually was fixing games as well. And they said that actually they were working with the mafia as well. If you look into Eric Spoelstra, his house burns down right after this. Weird timing. Now, who did Teddy Rozier actually play for right now? He's on the Heat.
No way.
Yeah, and people were saying, well, he was fixing games. He was on the Hornets, but that was only a year removed. So what does he know? Because I don't think it's just one isolated incident. So the fact that Rozier plays for the Heat now, and then the head coach, his house burns down, could it be a message from the mafia? Could it be the higher up saying, hey, you better not talk because there's a lot more to disclose?
So you think even some coaches are compromised?
For sure.
We got to talk about Eric.
Shout out to the background music. Again, not to be, that's how do you say, take that needs a lot of verification. You can't necessarily take one thing and I don't know, I'm sure. So there's a lot of follow-up that needs to be done there. And, first and foremost, safety and security, we talk about people's homes. And so it's very unfortunate, to have a situation like that. And you want everyone to be safe, Eric Spoelstra's family and, that damage to be restored. But yeah, folks, this gambling, it's just the deflecting and drifting and all these other storylines, obviously NFL, college, and we're just gonna not say anything and hope that people stop talking about this. Are we talking about a crisis? Because in college sports, NIL, transfer portal, we gone down that list. Crisis. Out of control. Okay? Spit, just being held together tenuously, college sports. Nothing academic or collegiate about it. Right? And before you talk about super conferences, and we just need to transfer portal, okay? Everybody transfers all the time. No, we need, right, one transfer, fine. The next transfer, you got to sit. Done. Okay? You got to sit. Got to get the transfer portal in order. And the NIL, if we're talking about in the NBA, never mind. Gambling is, it's, right? We're talking the Black Sox. That's what we're talking about here, folks. The Black Sox scandal. On that level, Chauncey Billups being incarcerated for fixed poker games. All right, so how much was lost? Never mind who he's dealing with. Shout out to Rounder. Shout out to Matt Damon. You don't want to mess with certain guys, all those things. Yes, indeed. All right, so you're swindling people, swindling them out of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, possibly millions of dollars, and folks that you don't want to mess with. You don't want to mess with these guys. They will bring it. All right, so all of that. But if you're fixing a game, you're talking millions of dollars. Millions. The folks that bet on that game. Tens of millions of dollars. If it goes beyond one player and one play versus an entire game, never mind. And again, first thing is safety and right, you're talking about people's houses burning down, and we don't need that. Right? Talking about serious crime. No. But the implications here and the fact, right? We're not, it's just kind of, we don't know. Nobody knows anything. That's equally bothersome to me as someone growing up, as I keep going, awesome 80s. David Stern is coming through, whether it be Tim Donaghy, whether it be the Minnesota, and he's knocking some people out. Now, what happened in those situations, so on and forth. All right? Folks know. And, could have been more referees than Donaghy. Oh, all right. There's a lot there, and we can debate. But he got his arms around it, is my point. And there wasn't much after that. Yes, Tim Donaghy, it's there, it's consistent, but there wasn't like this gambling while the NBA, i.e. Adam Silver, is, pay no attention to what's going on over here. We keep more and more things are happening. Never mind what's happened that hasn't been addressed. No. Okay. We need some strong leadership here. We need not drifting. Like this is what's going on. Acknowledge it, and we're gonna do something. Right? Have we even got Terry? Are you gonna suspend somebody? Are you gonna crack down on somebody? Throw the book at somebody? Oh, we're gonna wait. Okay. Yeah. It just remains the elephant in the room.
When you hear the take about football players transition to basketball players or basketball players transitioning to football, what do you think is easier?
Man, I think
due to the fact that you played Randy Moss.
Of course, I think it's basketball to football.
Right, I agree.
That's just because we're basketball players, probably though. But right,
I see him up a football player. It looked like he couldn't.
I know, but there's a lot of athletic football players though.
Yeah.
I mean, them mugs is athletic.
Yeah, I agree.
But I just think, screening and rolling and catching it and pump faking and pivoting it without walking and shit like that and dunk. I think that's basketball players got that.
Yeah.
But then you got these big offensive linemen that are down in 3-point stance that get up out of there and pull out to the left side or the right side too now.
They might be 6'8" too.
I know, bro. 6'8", 350, 300. Yeah. So that's a fine line, bro. But I'm always gonna go with the NBA dudes.
Me too.
You played quarterback
up until like 9th grade, and then I stopped. I was frail.
They were tossing you around.
No, I was sliding back in the 9th grade.
You knew you were going to be a hooper.
Well, I thought I was.
From 9th grade, you were like, oh, I'm not going to waste my time with football.
Oh, no. I thought baseball was my best chance to go pro. Yeah. Huh?
What you shortstop?
Whatever you needed.
I didn't know that.
So you played everything.
I was scared of the ball, though. Scared to get hit. Like, I'm not getting in front of the ground ball with this bird chest.
When you hear the take about football players transition to basketball players,
didn't realize Jay Will was a 3-sport athlete.
To football, what do you think?
Shout out to
man. I think
due to the fact that
3-sport athletes. We used to play multiple.
Basketball to football.
Right. I agree.
That's just because we're basketball players, probably though. But right,
I see him up a football player. It looked like he couldn't.
I know, but there's a lot of athletic football players though.
Yeah.
I mean, them mugs is athletic.
Yeah, I agree.
But I just think, screening and rolling and catching it and pump faking and pivoting it without walking and shit like that and dunk. I think that's basketball players got that.
Yeah.
But then But then you got these big offensive linemen that are down in 3-point stance that get up out of there and pull out to the left side or the right side too now.
They might be 6'8" too.
I know, bro. 6'8", 350, 300.
Too.
Yeah. So that's a fine line, bro. But I'm always gonna go with the NBA dudes.
Me too.
You played quarterback?
Up until like 9th grade, and then I stopped. I was frail.
They were tossing you around.
No, I was sliding back then in 9th grade.
You knew you were going to be a hooper.
Well, I thought I was.
From 9th grade, you were like, oh, I'm not going to waste my time with football.
Oh, no. I thought baseball was my best chance to go pro. Yeah. Huh?
What you, shortstop?
Whatever you needed.
I didn't know that.
So you played everything.
I was scared of the ball, though. Scared to get hit. Like, I'm not getting in front of the ground ball with this bird chest.
When you hear the take about
Jay Will, a 3-sport athlete. You would have knew. I didn't know that. Okay. All right, Jay Will. Just so much quality. I'm going to finish Robert Greene, right? Laws of Power. Okay, slice of life.
People who kind of know what they're doing, who've got their act together, who are trying to make things and accomplish things. Because there's so many people out there who talk and talk and talk, but never do anything. Being around people who do things, who get things done, who've made a business, who've made this, that, or the other, their goal to be around because they'll infect you with their positive energy. Being around confident people who kind of know what they're doing, who've got their act together, who are trying to make things and accomplish things. Because there's so many people out there who talk and talk and talk, but never do anything. Being around people who do things, who get things done, who've made a business, who've made this, that, or the other, their goal to be around because they'll infect you with their positive energy. Being around.
Yes, sir. No lies detected there. It's TR right there, Teddy Roosevelt. It's not the critic that counts. Not the one that points out where the doer of deeds could have done them better. Okay, not the critic that counts. The credit belongs to the man or the woman in the arena. Folks out there getting it done. Getting the job done. Yes, indeed, folks. Okay, we've got this episode done, and we're moving and grooving on to the next one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for tuning in to Sand City.